Hi, I'm Tom D and I want to show you how to backup Elasticsearch indices to S3 storage using Firebase and encrypted SIA network. First step is to create an account on Firebase. Here I specified the first name, last name and the email address. Also password is necessary. Sign up. Okay, this is a issue probably with Brave web browser, so I need to check the CAPTCHA once again and provide all the data. Here there is a required confirmation for the email address. Once email address is confirmed, you can log in. After logging in, go to buckets. Here create new bucket, and for the name of the bucket I recommend using KeePass. This tool helps you generate unique name for the bucket name. Change the storage network to SIA and bucket got created. To test connection to S3 storage, I'm creating a new collection called Firebase. I need to change authentication to AWS signature and AWS region to US East 1. Service name S3. Now you need to copy the access key. Go to access keys, copy the key and place it under access key. Now the secret, copy that secret and place under secret key. Save a collection. Now create the new request under that correction. This request will help you get information about if the connection is possible or not. Get list of a bucket is a simple request. S3 API endpoint, copy that endpoint value and place it under the URL over here. Now copy the bucket name. This bucket name you will use as a prefix for the endpoint. So place it before S3 value. Now save it and run it. Connection is possible. Create the Docker Swarm and OneNode cluster in order to have a benefit from Docker secrets. So Docker Swarm init will create such OneNode cluster. Now Docker secret create and the name of the secret. Firebase underscore access key and secret key. Now space and minus sign. Enter. Now copy the access key from the Postman. Copy that key and place it here. Type enter to switch to the new line. Now copy the secret key and Ctrl D and Ctrl D. The secret got created. To confirm that, type the command docker secret ls. It listed the created secret. Now it's time to start the service. Docker service create. Specify the name as Elastic or whatever you want and specify the ports that will be open to connect to the Elasticsearch. It specifies the port on the container and the port on the local host. Mount. The mount type is volume, and this is because I want to have the Elasticsearch data in the volume as well the configuration data. So here is for Elasticsearch data. It points to the container location, USR share Elasticsearch data. Now volume for configuration. Because some of the data later on I will store on the configuration and I want it to be persisted. Okay, now the time for secret. Secret and the secret name. Copy that name from here, and that's it. The last part is the Elasticsearch image name. docker.elastic.co/elasticsearch and version number. Enter. Service is starting. 5 seconds for confirmation that service got started. Now to display that, docker ps. Now it's time to connect to that Docker container in order to execute few commands. First command is to set a new password to connect. Password for the user Elastic. Here important is to specify the URL as localhost and the port 9200. New password got created. This is a new value, but you can also create your own password. In order to do that, run the command again, but specify the -i option. It will create the process in an interactive mode and allow to provide a password. Passwords got created. Now the secrets that were mounted on this container are under this location, and using the cat, forward that value into Elasticsearch key store tool. Parameter add with option standard input. This will load the value of the secret file into the tool Elasticsearch key store. Now it will load line by line, so that's why it's important to put the values for the secret in the right order. S3 client Firebase access key is the first value, and second is the secret key. The same sequence, the same order that you put values to the secret file. Now the Firebase in this name means the client name, and that's also important because that value will be used later on. Elasticsearch key store list displays two values, so the keys are created and are present in the key store. Now set up the password for the key store, because key store is mounted on a configuration volume and it's accessible. Now a collection to test authentication, Elastic user and the password. This correction will store the credentials and help us creating the request under that. First request will be to reload the security settings, because we changed the key store file name, the key store file. We need to reload the secure settings. In order to do that, create this request localhost and port, and then nodes _nodes, and here reload secure settings. As a body JSON and as a value secure settings password. This is the password that you set up for the passwd command. Okay, here is a mistake. It should be HTTPS. Okay, the secure settings got reloaded. To pack up Elasticsearch indices, you are creating the snapshots into the repository. So the first step is to create a repository. Create a new request and call it create repository. Create backup repository. Here as a type, put, and the URL specify https://localhost and 9200. Now, underscore snapshot and the repository name. Parameter verify true means that it will try to connect to that repository during creation. The first is a type, in this case S3. There are additional settings needed. Settings like bucket ID, simply bucket name, client, in this case Firebase, and the region US East 1. Last but not least, endpoint. Endpoint equal to s3.firebase.com. This is the same parameters that were specified for connection, the test connection that we did before. Create a new request and specify the name as load sample data. Here type as post and specify URL to the cluster. Then /storage as an index name /_bulk. Body to raw and JSON, and here sample data. Important is to have empty line at the end. Keep empty line at the end and save this. Send this request. Data got created. Now there is index storage with 2 documents. To check and search the data, create search sample data request. Copy the path, the URL, and type /_search. It will search that index. Save it, both, and run it. Data is there. To create snapshot, copy create backup repository request and change its name to create backup. Delete the verify and place the snapshot name at the end after the repository name. Wait for completion as true. So it will wait once the backup is done. Now indices. As a mask, place wildcard, comma, minus, period, wildcard. It means it will back up only non-system indices. Include global state as false, so it will not back up cluster metadata. Send it. Snapshot is done. Important is note the state as success and all shards were backup. If there is some error, the state will be partial or failed. To get the same information as here from the response of backup request, create a new request as a copy of create backup request, edit it as check backup status, and delete last part. Change the request type to get, body to none, save it and run it. It will display exactly the same information. To check information about all snapshots in particular repository, copy that request and type _all. Change the name to check all backups status, save it, and run it. In this case, there is only one snapshot, so it doesn't matter. On a Firebase, when you go to the bucket, you can see that data is there. So backup got created. Copy search sample data request, change its name to delete sample data, delete _search, and change request type to delete. Save it and run it. Now to check if data got deleted, run search again. Now index not found exception means data got deleted. To restore backup, copy request, check backup status, because it contains all necessary data like repository name and snapshot name. Change its name to restore backup from snapshot. Here _restore and type to post raw JSON. Now as an index pattern, I want to restore all indices in that backup. Send it. To check if data got restored, search again. Previously it was not found exception, now data is there. Data got restored. As a cleanup, first remove the snapshot through Elasticsearch API. Delete snapshot. Remove the _restore and change the type to delete. Body to none, save it, and run it. It's acknowledged. Check backup status is empty, means that there is no snapshot from Elasticsearch metadata perspective. But here in a bucket, there's still some data. Click on buckets and choose a option to empty bucket. Provide the text as it's requested, permanently delete, and empty bucket. Now after refresh, bucket is empty. Now it's the time to clean up Docker. Here, first Docker swarm leave force. Container got killed, but volume left. So volume remove. First, remove config. Secondly, remove data. Order doesn't matter. Now no volumes. And last, check that all containers got shut down.